Hooray! This is the last camera overview video that I'm going to make. 9 months ago, I started this project to improve my public speaking skills. And after almost 30 videos, we've come to the end of the line. I want to thank everyone who subscribed or liked or commented on my videos. I was a little nervous about internet trolls in the beginning, but the encouragement and general positivity that you've given made all the difference. So I didn't give up like I usually do in a lot of things. So thank you very much for that. For this video, I'm going to show you the oldest cameras in my collection. In this box is the original Kodak Brownie camera from 1900. And I also have the Kodak 2 Model D from I think it was 1914. And then I also have a Houghton Ensign 2 1/4 A from 1922 to 1922. Oh wait, 1912 to 1922? Did I say that right? Anyhow. So, like usual, I'll tell you why I got these cameras, and then I'll show you how they work and how they give you my overall impression of how they feel. So, I got these box cameras basically for the same reason as the Voigtlander Vesa and the Kodak 2D in the previous week's videos, because I'm interested in the shooting experience you get with antique cameras that are comparatively unsophisticated and that a small company might be able to make. Hint, hint, I kind of want to make a company to make new film cameras. With any luck, that might happen. So, and more specifically, I wanted to get the Kodak Brownie because it's such a historic camera. It was the camera that democratized film photography for amateurs, and a lot of early snapshot photography started out with these sorts of simple box cameras. And I got the Kodak Brownie 2 because my great grandfather had one, and my uncle's taking care of that for now, but I just wanted one to play around with. And I got the Houghton Ensign box camera because I wanted a 6x6 camera that shot 120 film in order to convert it to pinhole. So you can get one of these laser drilled pinholes on eBay, and I'm going to figure out how to replace the lens with it. So I'll end up with a pinhole camera that has a standard focal length. For some reason, like the market has demanded that pinhole cameras have to be ultra wide angle. That's basically because people want to get the sharpest images they want, which doesn't really make sense to me. If you're doing pinholes, you kind of don't you kind of just want that sort of fuzzy look to it? So I wanted to get a box camera that I could just hack into a pinhole camera. I'll make a video about that when I get around to it. Who knows how long that'll be, but that's what I'm planning on doing. So, as for the cameras themselves, they're really simple, and don't think it would be a huge task to make one of these on your own, but they're still pretty nicely made for what they are. So let me just take this out of the box for you. So the early Kodaks are made out of cardboard covered with leatherette, and they're sort of nicely made, but compared to the Houghton, which has wooden walls all the way through it, the Houghton's a cut above. It's more solid feeling, sturdier, and even the film winding feels better. So these are sort of budget cameras, but still nicely finished, I guess. So this overall size of the 6x6 cameras is pretty similar to a TLR. So you can see that they're like, just sort of basically the same size. This one's a lot heavier, of course, because it's all metal and has a big lens in it. These box cameras, while they're kind of chunky, of course, they're actually really lightweight. I don't know how delicate they are, but you don't want to drop one of these. So as far as the viewfinder goes, this one doesn't actually have a viewfinder. It has an optional viewfinder that you can clip on here, which is basically a brilliant viewfinder type that you see on folding cameras, like the one I showed you last week. And both of the other ones, they have them built in, two on the 6x9 Kodak, and just this one on the 6x6 Houghton. And they're really dim. They're dusty, and then maybe they'll brighten up after I clean them, but they're dim. It's low contrast, and it's kind of hard to tell what's in the frame exactly, just because it's hard to see through it. But in bright sun, it's easier than it would be like in the shade or indoors, especially indoors. They're definitely more of an outdoor sort of a camera. Since this one doesn't have a viewfinder inside it, it has these sight lines, so you just have to imagine where the edges of the frame are. Next, you have the shutter levers on all these cameras. It's like sort of like a weird rotating blade kind of shutter. So when you flip this, a spring makes it turn around. So it's actually kind of like a interesting whop sound. So here you go. It's like that, like thwack at the very end. So it's pretty cute. And it has a little bit of grooves. Yes, it has a little bit of grooving on the top so you can grip it. So pretty cool. And on this side, it has a little strip of metal that you pull out, and that changes it to time mode. So you flip it this way to open the shutter. It stays open like that. And then to close it, you just go backwards like that. So you push that in, and then you're in instant mode. I think it's about like I forgot what it was. Maybe it was 100-ish of a second or something like that. Or wait, maybe it's slower. I don't remember. But and then you have time mode. After that, here's the film advance knob, I guess you can say, and it has these little spring type bumps on it, so you can't go backwards. So you turn it counterclockwise to advance the film, and it has sort of a flimsy feeling to it on this one. And on the other ones, it's a little bit more substantial. It's got like a metal housing bolted onto it, and it has like a rod to rotate it. So it's squeaky on this one, and on the other one, it is like, it has sort of a heavier, dutier feel to it. So it feels like there's a spring in there that keeps it from going back in the opposite direction. So I don't think these two will recoil like the mechanism in the original Brownie would, if it weren't for those little stops on the base of the crank. So let's see. After that, you've got the little latch here to open the back. Oh, I need to point out, they all have a red window on the back, so you can see the frame counter numbers. This one has a metal surround around it, which is just part of the whole sturdier build quality that this one has. And okay, so you slide this to open up the back, and the hinge is just the leatherette with a little bit of fabric in it, so you have to be careful. And then you have this. Oh wait, I forgot. I need to take this off first. Okay, so inside you have sort of like it's sort of like a film pressure plate, I guess you'd call it, and then you can slide out the film carrier. On the inside, it's basically just an empty box with the lens on the other side. And then this film carrier is pretty cool. Got a film spool, wooden core with metal flanges. The original Kodak Brownie, it shoots 117 type film, which is basically just medium format film, but 6 shots on a roll. The replacement spools are really hard to find, but you can find these 3D printed ones, which is neat. It's a neat example of using modern technology that keep using old film cameras. So you can get these really cheap on eBay, and then you can re-spool film, a roll of 120 onto these 117 spools, and it fits inside this nice little brass springy carriers, slots or whatever. But you put one spool there, you move the film across this wooden frame, rounded edges here on the back. You fit that down. You put the other end here. It's like really simple, but it's like still precision made. the kind of tooling they must have had to make this is probably pretty, I don't know. It's probably involved to set up the manufacturing, the manufacturing line. It'll take a lot of steps and planning to do this, but I think it could be done. Anyway, so put it back in. You lift it up, slide it back in like that. And then make sure to lift it and then slide it into place. It's a nice click at the end and doesn't wiggle around. And then lastly, you put the crank back on. And this little, I don't know what it's called, but this little knob, it sort of fits into the notches in the spool, and then you turn it around to get the little latches thingies into the grooves. So you turn it that way, and then it stays in place. But if you turn it this way, then it comes off. So, like, just really simple, basic mechanics to make this camera work. But, still really impressive. The Kodak Brownies, they don't have any tripod sockets. So you can get a smartphone bracket, like this one made by Leo Photo. And then you can put that on the bottom and tighten it up gently like that. And then you can put on a tripod, so you can do longer exposures and pinhole photography. So I'll show you the film carrier on the Houghton real quick, just so you get a sense of how much more sturdily built this one is. So you slide these pins to the side. This one's really tight, kind of. But you do that, and then you can just take the whole thing out from the side. Oops, is this... nope, I went the wrong way on this one. Did I? Yeah. So that way you can just take the whole thing out like that. And then see how thick these wooden walls are. So that's pretty impressive, how the different designs, what sort of different designs you can get on a box camera. So this one has more metal inside it. So this is metal. No, this is cardboard. But these rollers are metal and not just wood. And this chassis is all metal too. And it has these flaps to hold in the spools. Of 120 spools, this shoots 120, so that's pretty convenient for me. And overall, it's just sort of more deluxe, I guess. So, is it gonna go in? Or is this even backwards? No. Yeah. When it gets dark in here, I just can't really see what I'm doing, but it should go in like that, and slide these tabs back into place. So, these cameras are just so cool. Oh, I completely forgot to compare the size of the 6x9 Kodak Brownie with the Voigtlander roll film. So if you compare the side-to-side view, you can see that the sort of the bellows section of the folding camera is basically the same size as the box camera, but of course, once you fold up this camera, it's a lot more portable. It's a lot more portable than a box camera. This you can put in a coat pocket. This you have to carry around in a shoulder bag. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you want an old 6x9 camera. You're choosing between a box camera and a folding camera. So that's basically it for these 3 box cameras. They're really like, you know how people say that a camera is really just a box with a lens on one end and film on the other end? They're trying to like emphasize the importance of the photographer's vision and stuff like that, but I don't think they're really thinking about the differences between different types of cameras. For the most part, I think they're like imagining the differences between fairly similar cameras, especially contemporary cameras. If you look at the whole history of film cameras and look at all the different kinds of designs that they came up with, the difference between different types of cameras, that makes a lot more difference than if you were just comparing similar cameras. So if you wanted to compare the affordances of this first snapshot camera, and you want to think about how it compared to another snapshot camera that's 120 years later, once you get to big differences, it's obvious that they really do make a practical difference in what you can do. That's sort of been like the rationale behind most of my camera collecting, finding out how the different types of cameras have different capabilities, how their sort of performance envelopes are different. So if you're shopping for a camera, it's good to know where their capabilities overlap and where they diverge. So that's really it for these videos. Once again, I want to thank you for watching, and till the next time I make a video, take care of yourself, and I hope you have a nice week.